All right, so I guess we are live now. If my voice is audible to everyone, just let me know in the chat. If I'm audible to everyone. All right, we'll wait for more people to join in and then we'll start. You can send in your doubts in the meanwhile. I'll check those out. Nifty Metal Kaveri Seed US 100. All right. Nifty Metal is bullish. Nifty Metal has been bullish. We've been discussing about this Nifty Metal structure since somewhere here that it needs a pullback and then it's ready to go. So Nifty Metal is bullish. I don't really expect any. This is probably a daily demand zone as well. So let's see on the daily chart. So yeah, this is a daily demand zone. Nifty Metal is bullish. You can find your trades in Nifty Metal in the metal stocks. All right, let's just talk about the indices first. I think enough people are here already. Let's see. So what is Bank Nifty doing? Bank Nifty. Yesterday we had discussed about the possibility of a fall from here, from this supply. If it doesn't get taken out, then we can see some new lows in the market because this demand is weak, right? So that happened, a new low happened, and then you see the supply, it formed a fresh supply right here. So this was a fresh supply in Bank Nifty, which was something like this. Or you can take the highest candle as well. It doesn't really make a difference, right? So after this fresh supply was created, you see it got tested multiple times, once, then two or three times here. Of course, it wasn't a good area to take a short trade because the index had fallen a lot, right? So the supply gets taken out, but this supply gets taken out, but there is still this entire base, right, which is left. This is why you're seeing some resistance on the upside. So right now, Bank Nifty is trading between these ranges. All right, so let's see. So Bank Nifty is trading. This is the 1 minute chart of Bank Nifty. It's trading between these areas of balance, and this is what you need to focus on. These supply zones, basically this entire area. Trading inside this area of balance. It's trading. I mean, it has tested the supply multiple times, and it's reacting nicely from this area of balance. So we can see some bit of an up movement here, right? But uh, since it is just forming a range, it's always risky to predict where it will break out or where it will start trending. So if you take any trade in Bank Nifty, take it with a small size, right? And prefer not to buy options today. It's Thursday. All right. So we can see some bit of an up move here. Probably we'll see something like a sideways move here and then an up move, because by the looks of it, this seems like it's trying to break through the supply, and now it has come down to fill this area of I mean this thin price action, right? It is trying to fill this. So we will see some bit of up move. So let's see what happens. But don't short it. All right, it's in the middle of nowhere. So my bias is on the upside from here on, because the expansion from previous um, days base is not good. All right, so it's not good enough for a short trade. Just a second, give me 1 second. All right, yeah. So probably forms a base and then goes up, but again, this is a very strong area of supply. So profit is limited until it starts trying to take out this. All right. Let's discuss Nifty as well. Nifty, of course, it's weaker than Bank Nifty. So, so any shorts, if you want to direct, you shouldn't take Nifty at this point. You shouldn't short Nifty at this point because Nifty is falling probably because of some other index, mostly Nifty IT, I think. Yeah, so Nifty is falling because of Nifty IT. So now if I see the chart of Nifty IT, you see Nifty IT is at this early demand zone inside this high. So right now, if Nifty IT bounces up, then Nifty will automatically go up without Bank Nifty going up, and Nifty is also at this early area of demand. All right. So don't short Nifty. 2 days ago we had discussed that Nifty can come down to this demand zone, which is happening right now. So from here we can see some bit of an up move in Nifty as well. All right. So the downside seems quite limited at this point. We should see some bounce here, and Nifty you should definitely not short at these levels as well. All right. So we will see some kind of a bounce from these levels. Probably it will take some time to form a base and then go up. But short side, no participation on the short side. What can happen here is it can make a big candle into this demand zone and then reverse back up, right? So you see the fall, there hasn't been any big candles. So it can make a big candle, people can get in, and then it might quickly reverse as well. So that can happen. You can wait for it, and in that time, Bank Nifty will also maybe form a base. So let's see what happens. I'm not trying to short here. Even if it starts to take out the day low, I'm not trying to short at this level. And if you're trying to see, when you're trying to take an entry here, don't just buy randomly at demand zones. All right. When you see this 5-minute demand, this demand hasn't done anything. All right. This demand zone hasn't done anything. It hasn't even taken out this previous space. So when you're trying to take a trade, don't randomly buy at demand zones. Even if it took out this high, you shouldn't buy at this demand zone directly. What you should wait for is you should go to the 1 minute and you should wait to see if it's trying to sustain this move. If it's trying to sustain these, if it's trying to hold these, something like this. If it dumps down straight away, it means the supply is stronger. All right. So never take an entry like this in a demand zone straight away. It can easily come down to this level and then go back up again. All right. So the demand zones are wide areas. It's not that small, and you won't be able to hold it when it does this. So let's see if it sets up for an entry. We will take it. Otherwise, nothing on the short side for me. All right, a lot of stocks in the chat. Let's see. Bharat Forge for intraday. All right. I'll have to pick and choose stocks, unfortunately. Bharat Forge for intraday, there's nothing in Bharat Forge for intraday. You see, this was the base which made the last move. So there was a long here till this previous base right here. And if it broke out, well and good. If it did not, then you got this. So right now it's nothing. It's broken through this previous base. There's a short here. There's a short here. At this level, there's nothing in Bharat Forge. So Nifty is coming down into. Don't short at these levels, guys. Nifty IT is also at demand. Nifty is at daily demand. So we will see some kind of reaction. Don't short it. Bank Nifty will probably reverse from these areas. This area. Yeah, you see it took out the low. Not really moving below it. So we will see some up move. Let's see if it gives an entry or just spikes straight up. Don't short at these levels. That is the view as of now. All right, Bajaj Finance short. Bajaj Finance short? No. Why do you want to short Bajaj Finance? Bajaj Finance. See, this was the base which led to the last up move. There was a quick test of this demand, so there was probably a long trade. Yeah, no trade here. But then when it broke through it, there is nothing. All right, there's the earnings around announcements yesterday. All right, that is why there is so much volume. Yeah, but don't short it. These, I probably think you're looking at this. Don't short this. Yesterday we discussed the same thing in Tata Motors. It went up till the supply, I think. Yeah, look at this. So someone was asking about a short in Tata Motors here, but there is no short. It's reacting from the previous base. This was a good long, in fact. all right, and then it went up all the way till the previous base right here or right here. So this was an easy long. So don't short when you see a fall and you see a bear flag like this, if it's called a bear flag or a pennant, uh, whatever the price pattern is, don't short this breakdown. This will tend to get reversed after making a new low or even from here itself. So you never know when the pattern is complete. All right. So do not short here. Never short here. Just make it a rule of thumb. All right, Nifty. All right, we discussed Nifty. Swing on IEX. All right, we'll check it out. Birla Soft. Birla Soft for swing. No, nothing yet. See, this is why I don't buy these structures. They tend to get reversed. Um, so whatever we've been discussing since the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, everything is playing out as expected. All these extended structures are getting reversed on their head, right? And this is what you need to be safe from. So all the extended structures you see something like this, stuff like this will happen, and you will end up buying here. So you're buying at the highest high, which is the worst case scenario. If even if you are, I'm not drawing it properly, but any kind of pattern or triangle here, you are ending up buying at the highest high, right? So all these things will start to happen in the market. You need to keep a note of this, and of course, you want to know where your demand zone is. So the demand is here, right? So at these levels, the stock is still extended. It's far from the demand. You see, these are the dips into the demand which you want to buy. This is a rollover structure from the previous supply. Stock goes up, comes back down. On the hourly, it will be visible. It will be a rounding top, right? So it would look something like this. It will reject from these hourly supplies again and again, and then it will fall down like this. It happened. The same happened in Naukri as well. Info Edge. See, this was the area of demand, right? Multiple reversals, but then here there's a rollover, and then it starts to drop. It means that the demand is gone. Demand nahi hai. So demand has been taken out. All right, Tata Consumers and Kotak. Let's check out a few more failed structures. Yes, you see Mastec as well. This is the actual demand, right, which took out the supply. So nothing above it. All this is extended. You see, this kind of stuff happens. Again here, supply not taken out. You're entering, seeing a contraction. Something. Demand is here. So these are, you don't want to be in these waters. This is a downtrending stock. So all these poor structures are facing what was due. All right. So be a bit careful with what you enter. All right. Be a bit careful. Let's see if it's holding or not. So it's trying to build a base. Let's see if it. So what scenario will there be a long trade? First of all, I wouldn't take a long straight away here. Even if my bias is bullish, everything is bullish according to me. I won't take a long straight away here. I will wait for the test of this supply. All right, because you see the price is still in a downtrending structure. So even though this reaction is expected, I was expecting this reaction from the demand. I won't take a long here. I'll just draw the demand zone. You want to see how the price is behaving at the previous supply, right? So this is the previous supply. So now I want to see some kind of a range contraction here, right? And then maybe I look for a long till the day high. Nothing before that. Bias is still bullish though. Um, don't short at these levels as we've discussed. So it almost touched the demand zone. Probably I drew the demand zone roughly. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't matter. There's an hourly demand right here. All right, Tata Consumer and Kotak Bank. All right, let's check those out. Tata Consumer. Nothing in Tata Consumer. Tata Consumer, there was a short here. All right, this was the previous base. So just the normal. You see, this base took out this base, which made the last high. right? So now when the stock comes back to this base, there is a short. So intraday is as simple as this. All right. You can easily do this. You can do any entry here. Of course, there is no entry here, but I'll start shorting it probably here till the 5-minute 50 EMA, because this is extended. Now you want to come at normal levels and you don't want to expect an entire bear market out of here. Right? So that won't happen. But this will come down to normal levels, so it's quite easy, to be honest. Kotak Bank. Kotak Bank, nothing in Kotak Bank as such. Yeah, ignore this demand zone. This was the demand which made the previous high, and the base which led to the break of this is somewhere here. So there was a short here. It got tested multiple times and then absorbed and moved up, but then again rejected from the high. So that's not in our control, of course. So there was a long trade here. There was probably a short here. I wouldn't take it because it got rejected immediately to the 50 EMA. So the scope of the move is done, and there was no long trade here. So there was only one long trade here in Kotak. There is nothing else on the chart of Kotak. This demand seems to all right. Let it come down into this area if it does. Right now there is nothing in Kotak. All right, Nifty. I'll just add Nifty IT just a second. All right, Nifty IT is showing no signs of demand right now. All right, NIT Limited. What is this? Alada Industries. All right, Alada Engineers. It's very liquid, guys. Come on, 3,000 for a stock. Ignore this. 3,000 volume for a stock of 100 rupees. Don't trade this. Orient Cement. All right, just a second. Orient Cement. Let it. See the demand is here. All right, demand is here. So again extended. All right. NIT Limited. NIT Limited, again, you're doing the same mistake. I've been discussing this so many times. If you want something like this to happen to you, then go ahead and take a long here. All right. And I discuss this every single day. If you're new here, uh, kindly watch the previous lives as well. These are extended levels. All right. This kind of stuff happens from this level. All right. I'll show you an example. Look at this. So when will you guys learn from your mistakes? This kind of stuff happens from these levels. All right. If it's at the 50 EMA, only then trade it. Otherwise, ignore it. See, breakout and then an immediate reversal. You won't even get a chance to. Just a second. You won't even get a chance to exit here, right? Breakout and immediate gap down. Sorry for the noise. It will just go away probably a minute or so. All right. All right. So some kind of range is building up. All right. Never mind. When the stock is now at demand zone, how there are many. How do you know? We have discussed this in the previous session. It will form a base on the hourly 50 EMA. It will take out some hourly supply and then it will pull back. That is when you buy it. So if it comes out at demand, daily demand is here. If it comes down at daily demand, the hourly chart will look something like this. So you want to wait for this supply to get taken out. Then you will see some up move in the stock. See, don't run behind confirmation. Understand the structure, because confirmation, it can get reversed if the market starts falling again. All right. So try to understand when the structure shifts from bullish to bearish to bullish on every time frame, and then you will get the final up move. All right. So don't worry about confirmation. Just try to understand. See, it's clearly this is in a bearish uh, framework, right? So even on the 1 minute chart, I can show you when does the structure shift. It's all about the last base really. So you see, this is the previous base. It makes a new low, goes back up, makes a new low here, right? So now see, when this base is taken out, right? You see, it goes up, sustains at this supply. So market basically moves in a symmetrical manner. If there's a base here, if it has fallen like this, it will go up like this. Just a second. If it has fallen like this, it will go up like this. All right. So everything will work in a symmetrical manner. So when the initial base is starting to get taken out, that is when you know that the structure is shifting. So every dip is now buyable. And then you see all bases, it goes sideways at this base. And again, it goes sideways at this base, again breaks out. Again, this base is a very big one, so it doesn't, it just fakes out and comes back in. All right. Now you see when it's trying to fall, this base is here, goes sideways, absorbs it, drops into the previous base, again goes sideways here, doesn't absorb it. There's a long trade here, which we discussed multiple times as well. Now this base gets taken out in a straight line. Why does it get taken out without any absorption? Because this is the base which is absorbing the supply. All right. So it all works in bases. All those singular higher low breakout structures. That's not how the market price is delivered. All right. So yeah. So again, you see there is a supply here, strong supply, reversal supply, gets taken out, builds up, then again you get an up move. All right. So this is how the ranges are resolved. There is nothing else. So in the current market, if you see there is a range here, there is a range here, and there is a range here as well, right? So it's in the middle of nowhere. So to form a bias here is very difficult. So that is why you should be avoiding this current market until this actually sets up around these supplies for a long trade. All right, I'll check the stocks first. Let's check out some technical doubts. How do you define your basis? Sometimes it's pretty huge. If it's pretty huge, then you're marking it wrong. All right. It depends on what pretty huge means. If you're just looking for a random zone where you can take a reversal, then that's not how you should be approaching the market. And I'm not taking it directly when it's coming into a base. I'm always looking for the previous base to be taken out. There will be no momentum until this supply gets taken out. So this demand gets taken out, and this is kind of getting taken out. And we discussed it here as well, right? We discussed it somewhere here yesterday, right? That if this little thing is not taken out and this demand starts to go, then we'll see some momentum on the downside. So when see, this is the fundamental flaw with the thinking process, right? Suppose you are forming a bias. Suppose I give you 10 days worth of data, and you're forming a bias. Um, so you're forming a bias. You looking at whatever the chart is on the 10-15 day um, 10-15 day data which I've given you. So suppose the chart is looking something like this, right? And you are seeing that the price is trying to go upwards from here. So your complete focus will shift to this area, right? We'll forget about this supply, which is actually hindering the chart's movement on the upside, right? So when you're thinking about something, you are not thinking about what is opposing your trade, all right? So suppose you already form a bias. Now, when you form a bias, you most of you will tend to forget about what can happen against your trade, all right? And that is the first thing which you need to know. So this supply can immediately stifle your move. It can pause your move right here, and then it absorbs and then goes up. So the bigger momentum will come above this supply. So whenever you're taking a trade, the demand zone of the base is important, but it's not everything. You need to know what is the path of least resistance. Till where can my stock actually go? Without this, there is no point. Any demand zone can fail anytime, especially if it's a 5 minute demand zone. 5 minute demand zone are nothing. All right. So even though it's looking like it's about to fall right now, I will not short it because Nifty is at the demand. So if it sets up for a long trade, then we'll see, um, which will take some time. All right. So you see, I talked once this demand is tested once and twice. So tested once, tested twice, then starts to fall. Then you see the momentum in this thing. It will go straight down to the day low right here, right somewhere here. Already tested this demand. So you always want to see what demand zones are getting absorbed, one after another. All right. So that is how you make a bias or track the market. Let's say a base has been touched a lot of times. Does it mean it doesn't matter if it's weak or not? All right. Um, it doesn't matter if it's weak or not. If the base has been touched a lot of times, and you are seeing that it's not reacting anymore, that means you're far from your ideal entry. So suppose this supply has been tested a lot of times, and you're trying to take a long here, thinking that the supply is about to get taken out. So listen to this very carefully. Suppose the base has been touched a lot of times. You're thinking that the supply is about to be taken out. Where is the demand coming from? Demand is coming from right here. All right. So this is actually the demand which from which this entire range is being built up. On which this entire range is being built up. So you see these reactions. This is where the buying is coming in. All right. At the supply, it's rejecting again and again. So this does not mean that the supply is weak. Here, if you see, demand is getting weak because price is just sitting here, not doing anything. So when the ranges are wide, then you cannot say, even if it's tested 15 times, you cannot say that the supply is weak because the demand will be far away. All right. So at this point, definitely the demand is far away and the supply is right here. So the stock can fall. All right. And here, if you see, the supply gets built up slowly and then it stops going up. So there is a chance of something like this happening, which is happening. So um, tested multiple times, all that stuff. It doesn't matter if the range is very wide because there is no signs of absorption anywhere. Right. All right. Anup Engineering. Why did you buy Anup Engineering? I posted it as a breakdown. Why did you buy it? This is what I was advising against. Right? Don't buy the breakout. I clearly mentioned that this is not the level you want to buy Anup Engineering. If you have bought it, kindly exit. Whatever I post on Insta is a trade breakdown. I do not post callouts on Insta anymore. All right. So I done a little exit here as well. Around done most of my exit here, which was around 1:5, I think, and I missed out on this last spike. But I'm glad that I exited. All right. So this was what I was um, warning you. I mean, alerting you guys against. This kind of stuff will start to happen in the market. We are in the late stages of the small cap up move, right? So there is a base which is yet to form. So all this stuff can happen. So kindly be very careful. Sumit in all right. So you can hold this. You can hold this. Volume is also good. And this looks good. IEX. All right, Anurag. I'll check IEX. Don't spam. IEX. IEX demand is here. These are it is very far from the demand now. So I won't take this. How much should be refined? See, you're not tagging. I am sorry. You're not getting the point. You don't need to refine zones. Don't work in a systematic, machinic way. All right. Otherwise, you will not be tagged anytime. So, suppose using the word tags, I'm assuming um, you're familiar with smart money concepts, right? So let's take this example. Suppose when you're seeing this entire structure, you will see that this supply made the last low here, right? So this supply made the last low here. So as soon as this supply is gone, suppose your bias becomes bullish, right? Um, this was the previous supply which made the last low. So this supply is gone, your bias becomes bullish, and now you're looking at this as a 1 minute break of structure, suppose, right? If you are or if you're not, I'm not sure. But so um, let's say you wait for a complete breakout. Ignore the wicks, all right? Let's say you wait for a complete breakout. So this is a complete breakout right here, right? So now when you're looking at this breakout, it's important to analyze what's actually going on inside the range, which supply was absorbed, because some supply is absorbed for this breakout to happen, right? So this was the supply which was absorbed for this breakout to happen. But suppose you're looking at this breakout, and then you mark your demand zone right here. All right, it tags you in. Tags, I mean, I'm assuming you just take a limit entry here, which is the worst thing. You shouldn't do that or do that at all. So now when you see your move is limited till this, all right. So your risk to reward, which you're making, suppose 1:4, doesn't mean anything. You cannot make 1:4 with a capital of 2 crores, all right. So if I take a entry like this, if I take an entry like this, you see it's just top 0.2%, right? So even to take a 1% risk, I'll have to enter with my entire account. And if you can enter with an entire account in any stock with a 2 crore account or a 3 crore account or a bigger account, suppose this is the 1 minute volume is 43,000, all right, and the stock price is 256. So 43,000 means how much? It means around 1.5 crores. So you will make the volume of two candles, all right. So it's very important to play in these bases where you can consistently buy on dips, and you can make an entire position and the stock will go in that direction. So I mean, it works for 10-15 lakhs of capital, maybe even 1 crore in some stocks. But post that, you cannot just buy with a limit order. You will end up making a volume spike in the um, on the chart, and you will face a lot of slippage. So your entry, your theoretical entry will be somewhere here. Your actual entry will be somewhere here. So there's no point of taking this risk anyway. All right. So the important thing which I was talking about is this is a base right here. So when you're taking an entry here, you are ignoring this if you're not uh, familiar with bases. So you're ignoring this. So your move is limited till here itself, right? So this is the move which you're getting. And then again, you want to understand demand to supply flow. So now it will come down to any demand zone and then build around this area for the next big move. All right. So you have to understand all this if you want to build a position in the stock. You cannot, or in the index, if you get a bigger capital, suppose you grow a capital, it will be very difficult to trade these stocks. And IEX is one of the most liquid stocks on NEC, first of all. Um, So even if here you cannot enter with a 1 crore capital on 1 minute, then what's the point? All right. So IEX is one of the most liquid stocks, and this is happening. So in stocks like something like Siemens India, um, um, it doesn't really work at all. So try to try to develop your understanding beyond this thing, simple zones or refining to the very least, because that should be the least of your concerns. It won't help you in the long run. Hindi bol see, I don't have. I have audience from all over India, so I have to speak in English. Can I know your mentorship details? It's there on my Instagram page, rishabh.tibrewal. You can go and follow there, and you will find it on my page. Just scroll down a bit. The syllabus is posted. You can drop a DM as well. I'll check it out. Jacob getting ready for a big move. Yeah, maybe. Um, it is actually. But it's right now it's extended, so I'm not buying here. Um, I'm also watching this on the monthly chart. It is getting ready, but again, you never know. If the market starts to underperform, then this might not happen. So, let's see what happens. Right now, it's extended. Right now, don't buy it. All right. It's very far from the 50 EMA. Tata Communications. All right. Raju Engineering. Guys, don't ask about illiquid stocks. How does Tata Communication? There is nothing in Tata Communications right now. So the next big move will be this is a very strong supply which it created, right? So now if you see on the hourly, Yeah, so it's already rejecting from this supply. It went up, now it's coming back down. So um, so this is why it's not a good idea to see, when you see a pin bar like this, it's not a good idea to buy because the pin bar is big and the supply is equally as strong. All right. So probably it forms a nice range around here. If this demand gets taken out, then we will see levels of 1300 again, maybe even lows of 1245. So keep an eye on this demand zone right here, this doji candle right here. Tanla pursuing Tanla is in another orbit. Why do you want to buy Tanla? Again, guys, same mistakes again and again. You will buy it, it will come down, then go up. Um, Tejas Networks, nothing in Tejas Networks we've discussed. Let it go sideways. It will take a lot of time now. All right. You see, it's heavily the momentum is heavily on the downside. And if you did not exit even after 2 or 3 days of this happening, then I'm not sure why. How are you approaching this? Moving average doesn't matter. It's just a tool to let me know if it's an extended area or not. So if this is a demand zone, suppose this demand zone makes a new high. Let's see. This demand zone made a new high, right? But this zone, when the price comes back, it's still extended. All right. 50 EMA is good for short term trend. So I'm not actually buying any break of EMA or anything. All right. It's just an indicator to let me know if it's still extended or not. So this is extended, but this is good enough. So you see the base forms when the price is not extended. When the price is extended, then either the EMA will catch up or the price will come down very sharply. So that is the use, nothing else. And if you want to know more than this, you'll have to experiment on your own. All right, cannot give away everything, of course, because I have a mentorship program. Um, GSW is part. All right, all right. CCL products for a swing. Same thing. It's extended. Both CCL and Tata Coffee is extended. Don't buy this. It might break out, but I wouldn't recommend you to buy this. Happiest Minds again, yeah. So Happiest Minds, I told you if this demand zone gets broken, exit. So you did not exit. I think the demand actually is here, which we've been discussing for a long time. So let's see. Just a second. Yeah. So the demand actually Happiest Minds, it was here, which I've been talking about. So if you're entering here, then you're purely chasing momentum. All right. So I told you to keep your stop below this demand or this one. I think I'm not really sure because there is no proper demand here. Probably this one. Yeah. So you should have exited when it gapped down. I would have exited here itself. Any loss of momentum, I'm out. First of all, you shouldn't take these. So most of the stocks moved up in the earlier stages. This was a late stage. Index was about to fall, so this was bound to happen. So this is why I told you to buy with a small quantity and maybe add later if it forms a nice structure here. Now this supply is very strong. Let's see this one. All right. So exit if you have this exit. All right. So again, see till now there are no signs. So this is why you don't buy at the demand zone which breaks structure or anything. All right. Don't randomly buy at this demand zone which breaks structure. Wait for this entire move. Otherwise, you'll have to enter, exit, enter, exit. You have to do all that stuff. Let's see which stock is. All right, Cholafin. There was a doubt about Cholafin if it's absorbing the uh, daily time frame supply. So this was the supply which led to the last low, and it did absorb the supply here. But again, you see it's far from this demand zone. The only proper demand zone is here, so it's very far from this demand zone. So this is why I wouldn't buy it here because this can happen. Right now, don't take it. Of course, it's not absorbing. It has absorbed long ago and it's gone. Apollo, there was a good entry yesterday. Actually, I missed it. Was watching this actually. So this was the previous demand zone. I'll just mark it, which broke through this supply, right? This entire supply. So there is a demand here as well. So On the 5 minute as well, it was forming a really nice structure. There were heavy volumes coming in this area, right? So you see the volumes yesterday. Look at the volume on this spike right here. So this was a clear indication it's about to go up. Um, should have bought it. All right. So Apollo Hospital was a good one. Right. Let's see. Polycab exchanging solutions already. So exchanging multiple times. Exchanging solutions. See, the supply which made the low is somewhere. I mean, here itself, right? So probably needs more time. I am not sure about this. At this level, definitely no. But maybe at this level, you can get in. GM breweries, nothing here. We are still waiting for that supply to get taken out. So we are still waiting for this supply to get taken out. I've already discussed this on the hourly chart. Nothing here. Um, this is better actually. This is better. It tested out this entire area demand. Took out this supply as well. So this is better than GM breweries. Yeah, but again, take it with the small size. Markets are not yet set up, and the supply is also far, so it might give a spike like this and then probably spend some time. This is better than GM breweries. Your stop should be below this low right here. Here should be a stop. Kindly exit if it hits your stop. Don't become a long-term investor. Max Financials. Outlook on Max Financials. It's all right. This is a weekly demand zone. Um, weekly base actually, a little base. But overall, the structure is bad. This was a good base right here. There was no proper base above it. Um, structure is all right, but I would want some this supply to be tested like multiple times here, and then I'll probably buy this. Right. So nothing yet. You can hold it if you're holding it from something, some levels. Then it's obviously it's good. You can hold it. Sorry, persistent systems. This is the base, and this is your demand right here. This demand is all actually holding as well, but now you want to see what supply at hourly is there. So this supply until it's taken out, I wouldn't take this. Again, the momentum is very sharply on the downside. No point buying the dip right now. IEX, we've discussed this. IEX, everybody's trading IEX. So IEX, nothing is there. This is the area of demand. That is where you want to buy it. And if it breaks through this low, then you want to exit. Don't buy at this level. So Bank Nifty is trying to make a base here. You see this supply right here. Now it's getting tested. So this is the first time that it's not exactly the first time, but it's testing the supply again. So you see there is no momentum on the downside. Otherwise, we would have seen some kind of a breach of low from here itself. And this is probably because of Nifty. All right, Nifty is not going up. So Nifty, IT, yeah, there is no sign of demand here at all. So let's see. Bank Nifty is showing some demand here. So now, see, now if you want to take a long trade here, what you want to see is just clear out the chart and you mark your base, which is your base is somewhere here. All right. So actually, this entire structure is your base. You can include this low as well. This is a very strong supply. And then again, you have a base here, and this one is holding. So the supply buildup is actually still more at this point, right? So you definitely want something like this before jumping in a long trade. All right. So wait for it. Wait for a proper base before jumping in a long trade. It probably will happen tomorrow or maybe at the end of the day. So there is a lot of supply buildup here. If you see a lot of supply buildup, so the supply buildup is still there. No change in the structure as such yet. Confidence Petro is good. If you can find the dip entry, you should buy it. Promoters are buying it as well. You should find a dip entry. We have discussed this multiple times. Black Rose as well. Black Rose. Just a second. Wipro. So yeah. So Wipro had told you not to buy on the day of the dip. So now say demand got absorbed and now falling in a straight line. So let's check it out. Wipro we had discussed on the day of earnings. Shouldn't buy this at all. All right. So this was the area of daily demand. Now you see dips down, doesn't break through this hourly supply and starts falling again. So this is a clear bearish order flow. All right. So no entry in Wipro. If you bought it, then I'm not sure why, because the structure is clearly telling you not to. So I'll show you any example. Suppose let's take Web Global for example, right? So if I just zoom out, all these are accompanied with fundamental growth mostly. So if I just check out screener.com, screener.in, let's see Web Global, right? So I'll get to my point, but let's see the earnings for a minute. So this is the yearly earnings year on year, right? So you see, profit was growing consistently, but it started to it fell down, fell off in March. This is Web Global, right? Yeah, yeah. So it fell off in March 2013, right? So you will see that the price is showing bearish characteristics from 20. Um, all right, let's see. So probably this is some other expense, but profit was going consistently. So when the profit starts to stabilize, you will see that that in most cases this was probably a big bull run in the Indian market, right? So it did not fall much in 2013. In fact, it went up. So if you see when it started to make a top in 2015, this was still a year of growth. 2014 was still a year of a very big growth. From the minus 84 it went up to 155 crores, right? So which justifies this big up move. So now when you see it's stifling out, the move is dying out in since 2015. You see this entire thing was anticipated earlier itself, right? 2016, 2017, the dip in the earnings was anticipated earlier itself in price. So the structure changes accordingly. All right, structure changes accordingly, breaks through all the bases. Supplies are very strong, then starts falling on every earnings declaration, right? Every earnings announcement. From 2017, it starts to improve again, and then before the earnings improvement, price bottoms out. So 2017 just starts and price bottoms out. All right. So you should never ignore what the price is doing. It will usually precede, and from there it's been a steady growth on one way, and price has gone one way. All right. Until this base is broken, price is still uptrending. So no problem with this as well. If this base gets if this base gets broken, then there's another problem. So when you're seeing Wipro, it's falling. This is not a dip buy. You shouldn't buy Wipro on the dip, because Infosys is the clear leader in the IT sector. If you analyze the results, I mean, if you just went through all three results of Wipro, TCS, and Infosys, Infosys is the clear leader, and the chart says so. Look at the chart. It has not broken down or sustained below the 50 EMA for even a single session, all right, or a single week. So this clearly speaks that all the futures earnings are getting priced in. It's becoming stronger and stronger, and the earnings are also coming up stronger. So everything will work in tandem. Meanwhile, TCS, you see, there was a dip in the margin or something, and it was already um, factored in, and now people have bought for buyback as well. So let's see what happens. Buybacks and all don't matter. You want to buy at a proper level. All right. So it's rejecting from this supply again. So you see, it's not very hard. If you just mark the braces, you will get proper levels automatically. All right. Nalco is good. National Aluminium is a good one. All right. So let's check out Nalco. Intraday there is nothing in Nalco. You see, it has tested out this supply. It's kind of trying to sustain as well. So if it you can find your entry here. You can actually buy it for a short term. It's still extended, but I'm bullish on the metal, so maybe this works out, right? But make sure you know that the daily demand is below. So if you're buying here, it's pure momentum chasing. So get in with a small size. All right. Is there any supply in BNF? If the spike from here should break days. I don't get your question, but I think I'm pretty clear with what I talked about Bank Nifty. Until it makes a proper base here, there is no entry in Bank Nifty. ICICI Securities intraday. Not maybe it's already going up, so don't buy here. Right, it's already going up. Um, After this was taken out, there was probably a little entry here, so don't buy here anymore. It's already up. But good chart. I mean, uh, you're getting the thought process right. This is a proper area. Made the last high. It's a good one. Don't trade intra in illiquid stocks. I think this is all right. Not exactly liquid, but still not exactly liquid as well. Adore welding. Nothing in this one. Honestly, don't buy these stocks which are pulling back. They can move up. If you want to buy, if you think you will miss out, then wait for this level. Don't try to chase these higher lows. Probably won't form here. Kaveri Seed and Tech Time Techno. I'll check those out. Kolte Patil. So Kolte Patil had made a little entry here. Then I had to exit here. But again, this is not breaking. It's bullish. So wait for um, some pullback. The structure is good. No doubt about it. It's really strong. A lot of reality mid caps are good. Kaveri Seed again. Nothing in Kaveri Seed. Don't buy this. There is a huge block of supply right here. So this will definitely resist price. Time Technoplast is good. Yeah, this is good. I think it's at some monthly supply. Yeah. So this monthly supply took out this monthly demand. So once this is taken out, this will probably go straight up to 150 or something. So this is good. Mahindra Logistics is good enough. Mahindra Logistics is good enough. Still extended at these levels. So any entries will be with lower size. Nifty View, we have discussed Nifty View multiple times. Kindly scroll and you'll find those. Nifty is at a daily demand zone. Um, don't short at this level. Wait for these supplies to be taken out to take some long. Probably Bank Nifty is going to lead. So once this base is cleared out, which probably looks like it will, we'll see some up move in Bank Nifty. But don't take a long here. Wait for this base to complete. All right, maybe something like this. So I'll just clear out everything just a second. So this is a base. This is another base. And here we have a little base as well. So supply is building on the downside. So now what you want is you probably want something like this. Test this. And then you can get a move up. All right. So we want these supplies to get absorbed, tested multiple times, and then some stability in the index to take a long trade. All right. So wait for that. All right, TVS Electronics moves. Let's check it out. TVS Electronics is at upper circuit. All right, good one. This was a great chart actually. Good one. Rolex ring is way up. I think it's way up. We discuss this every day. Don't take this. IFL Security is good actually. This is on my watch as well. But the only problem is the demand is very far. So I cannot buy this. All right. Also, Rolex ring. See, I'm not saying that it cannot go up from here itself. All right. But if you buy at these levels, then you will buy other stocks which look like this as well, and those will definitely not go up. Something like this. All right. So that is the entire point. You don't want to get into the habit of buying this because you might make money in Rolex rings, but these structures won't go up when they're far from the 50 EMA. So all in all, you will be in red anyway. That is the entire point of telling you not to buy this. Not just Rolex rings, all right? Your portfolio will not perform. You have fixed targets, I have fixed targets, supplies. IRCTC for swing, all right? Nothing yet. This is the demand zone. This is what I'm waiting for. A little dip and then things will get much better. SIS entered at 450. Entered at 450. I would probably, I mean, the trade is good, but I wouldn't take this, all right? This demand is also great. Everything is good, but I mean, good one. It is very range bound, I think. Yeah. It's very range bound. So this is why I'm ignoring the stock since a long time. JSL well spun. All right. JSL again extended areas. You do not want to trade here, guys. You do not want to buy here. These things reverse. These things just gap down like this. All right, and it's happening every single day. Don't run after these. Look at this. All right. Let's see some. Yeah, look at this as well. So even though they are trying to break out, they will gap. They'll suddenly gap down. All right. Yeah. So now we have some examples. So when you're looking at a breakout level, don't focus on the breakout level. You focus on the demand zone and the 50 EMA. All right. Otherwise, things will gap down. So a lot of your stocks are extended. Don't do that. So Bank Nifty is trying to form some base here. Let's see. I'm definitely not shorting here. Nifty is at demand. Daily demand. Nifty has gone sideways. Probably Nifty IT is also going sideways. So we will definitely see some up move in the indices from here on. We should see some spike. Depends till where the spike will stay, because there is continuous supplies in Nifty, but the demand is actually here. Supply is actually here, so we can see a spike till 17,840, something like this. Maybe this 820, 840, those levels we can see. Bank Nifty is also trying to shape up. All right, so that is it for mentorship details. You can DM me on Instagram. I'll reach out to you. It's a 6-week program, and sessions are held on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And syllabus you can find on my Instagram. It's rishabh.tibrewal. You can check there. All right. Um, so you can just drop a DM. I'll respond to you. This is it for today, and I'll leave you guys with this. Hopefully, it's helping you out. And kindly like the video if it is, because that helps a lot with the algorithm. All right. You had DM. I'll reply you. Don't worry about it. I'll reach out to you. All right. So I'll leave now, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.